the Bible isn't just a book of random stories. It's 66 different books that come together to tell one story. An incredible one about God's love for us. And now for an amazing story from the book of Joshua, chapters 5 and 6.
Because God's people had given in to fear rather than trusting Him, God allowed them to wander in the wilderness for over 40 years. But after decades of camping out and eating manna and quail for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the Israelites finally reached the very edge of the land God had promised them. Now Moses had died, and now Joshua was leading the Israelites. He could see the green rolling hills of their brand new land right across the Jordan River.
It looks just like it did when Caleb and I went in to spy so long ago. Beautiful and filled with enemies and strong cities.
The Lord spoke to Joshua.
You will lead these people. They will take the land as their very own. Be strong and brave. Do not be afraid. Do not lose hope. I am the Lord your God. I will be with you everywhere you go.
And just as God had parted the Red Sea, He held back the waters of the Jordan River. Joshua led the Israelites across the dry riverbed right into their new land.
We will celebrate the Passover to remember how God brought us out of Egypt and all the way to our new home.
Joshua might have shared the Passover meal with his old friend Caleb.
It's wonderful to celebrate, but we've got work to do. Yes, we have to defeat Jericho.
Both men turned. They could see the stone walls of Jericho towering into the sky. The Israelites could go no further into the land without taking the city.
You think our people are ready? I don't know if any of us are ready, but God will be with us.
At dusk, Joshua hiked toward the city on his own, making sure to stay out of his sight. As he got closer, he could see the strong iron gates.
Locked up tight, and so many guards.
Joshua blinked in the setting sun and turned to see a man standing before him, dressed for battle, with a shining sword.
Are you on our side or their side?
I am not on either side. I have come as the commander of the Lord's army.
Joshua quickly dropped to the ground, bowing low.
What message does my Lord have for me?
Take off your sandals. The place you are standing on is holy ground.
God gave Joshua special instructions for how the Israelites were to defeat Jericho.
Wow, God. I don't think anyone's ever done this before, but since you'll be with us.
Early the next morning, Joshua gathered the Israelites.
So, are we attacking Jericho? Not quite. Actually, I need the priests first. 7 of you find trumpets, and the rest of you get the Ark of the Lord.
The Israelites kept large stone tablets with God's commandments in the Ark, a large chest. When the priests returned, Joshua turned to the men dressed for battle.
Okay, fighting men. Are you ready? God wants some of you to line up in front of the priests, and some behind. Wait, this looks like a parade. We're going to march around the city now, but not a word out of anyone, just the trumpets. What about attacking the city? God will be with us. That's all we need to know right now. Okay, move out, march!
The army and the priests marched all the way around the city. When they returned to camp, everybody gathered around Joshua.
What next? We do it again tomorrow morning. We're easy targets. They could throw spears from those walls, flaming arrows. God has promised to be with us everywhere we go.
For 6 days in a row, the Israelites marched around Jericho. On sunrise on the 7th day, the Israelites started their march once again. But as they finished one circuit, Joshua urged them forward.
Keep going.
Seriously?
7 times around today.
The Israelites circled the wall of Jericho 6 times. Then they began their 7th time around. As they marched, Joshua commanded,
"Shout! The Lord has given you this city."
For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the walls of Jericho began to tremble. A few loose pebbles started tumbling down. Cracks appeared, splitting across the stone wall, gaping wider and wider. Large stones broke away.
Stand back!
Rocks tumbled and thudded to the ground. The entire wall burst apart, boulders crashing to the ground, stone and dust racing down. The earth shaking, deep tremors racing away from the shock. At last, the dust began to settle. Joshua and the Israelites stared in awe. The entire wall had collapsed, leaving the city of Jericho wide open on every side.
God has given us the city. Take it.
The fighting men charged across the rocks and boulders and straight into Jericho. With the wall down, they were able to take charge of the entire city. Joshua had trusted God to be with him as they faced their enemies, and now their way was clear to move further into the land he had given them.